The legal saga involving Justinbaldoni, Blakelively, and Ryanreynolds has spiraled into an even bigger storm as Justin escalates his claims, insisting that Blake and Ryan allegedly tried to intimidate him into silence, turning an already chaotic dispute into a shocking confrontation that has captivated Hollywood observers. For months, their feud has been a messy mix of public drama, legal filings, bitter accusations, and whispers from industry insiders who say the conflict has slowly consumed both sides, leaving Blake and Ryan facing reputational fallout while Justin fights to defend his credibility in an environment where every leaked text or comment becomes another headline. Justin's new motion insists he will not be pressured into silence, painting himself as someone determined to present his truth regardless of how powerful the opposition might be, and that determination has intensified public interest in a story that once looked like a typical creative disagreement, but has since mutated into a full-scale war with no signs of slowing down. There was a time when Justin and Blake appeared to work smoothly together, especially during the early excitement surrounding It Ends With Us, a high-profile adaptation that promised prestige, commercial appeal, and artistic depth, but their public Instagram exchange in 2023, which initially looked like harmless teasing, began fueling speculation that their chemistry masked growing tension beneath the surface. As filming progressed, insiders claimed Blake repeatedly clashed with Justin over directing decisions, character development, and overall tone, frustrated by how much authority he held as director, producer, and studio figure, while Justin reportedly felt she was challenging his leadership at every turn, creating a volatile atmosphere that pushed their professional relationship past its breaking point long before cameras stopped rolling. When production ended, rumors about their worsening dynamic spread fast, but the true shock arrived when Blake filed a civil rights complaint accusing Justin of creating a toxic work environment and retaliating against her, transforming what many believed were ordinary creative disputes into a legal battle with enormous implications for both their careers and reputations. Justin fired back with a sweeping defamation suit and expanded the conflict by naming Ryanreynolds and publicist Leslie Sloan, arguing they contributed to damaging his image, and his frustration grew further when he accused a major publication of distorting his messages, prompting yet another lawsuit that added to a legal maze already thick with filings, motions, and competing narratives. But the most explosive turn came when Blake's team revealed text messages from Justin's own publicists that seemed to outline harsh strategies targeting her, intensifying public scrutiny and fueling the perception that this conflict has grown far beyond a dispute over artistic direction and has become a sprawling fight involving reputations, influence, and the heavy machinery of Hollywood public relations. Even now, the situation keeps evolving, with each side presenting new documents and interpretations that paint drastically different pictures of what happened on set and behind closed doors, leaving the public unsure whom to believe and making the case feel less like a simple disagreement and more like a cautionary tale about how quickly professional partnerships can collapse under pressure when egos, expectations, and power collide. As legal analysts dissect every filing, some argue that Justin's determination to pursue multiple lawsuits shows a man fighting to salvage his reputation, while others believe the sheer scale of his claims risks overshadowing the core conflict and placing him in an exhausting uphill battle against well-funded opponents who are prepared to litigate aggressively for as long as necessary. Meanwhile, Blake and Ryan continue navigating intense public criticism, with commentators noting that their once untouchable image has taken significant hits as the dispute grows, and though their supporters insist they are simply responding to misconduct, detractors argue the unfolding story suggests an alarming imbalance of power that could reshape conversations about workplace dynamics in the entertainment industry. The longer the conflict continues, the more divided public opinion becomes, with fans, journalists, and insiders debating whether this extraordinary meltdown reflects deeper structural tensions in Hollywood or whether it is simply an unfortunate clash of personalities amplified by fame, pressure, and conflicting ambitions that turned what should have been a triumphant collaboration into a relentless legal and reputational crisis. As the battle intensifies, both sides appear unwilling to compromise, creating an atmosphere where every filing, leaked message, or public statement ignites another wave of commentary, and with no resolution in sight, the saga serves as a stark reminder of how fragile industry alliances can be when trust erodes and accusations escalate into an all-consuming fight that overshadows the work that once brought everyone together. Until the courts settle these disputes or the parties reach an unexpected truce, the drama will continue unraveling publicly, shaping careers, influencing narratives, and keeping the industry watching closely with disbelief. If the recently surfaced texts prove to be legitimate, Justin could be dealing with consequences far more severe than a chaotic PR storm, because the implications stretch into territory that threatens his long-term credibility and potentially the future of every project he is attached to, transforming what once seemed like a heated professional clash into a sprawling dispute with enormous personal and industry stakes. Blake's retaliation claim is already complex, since legally, she does not need to prove that every alleged incident occurred exactly as described. She only needs to show that she faced consequences after speaking up, but that becomes harder to establish because the supposed smear campaign began after filming was complete, meaning she may struggle to point to concrete damages like lost roles or professional setbacks, a challenge that complicates her case from the outset, even though she signaled her seriousness by naming Justin's entire production company in her filing. Justin, however, had no intention of absorbing the impact quietly and responded with an enormous $400 million defamation lawsuit not only against Blake, but also against Reynolds and their wider PR team, insisting the allegations were a calculated attempt to seize control of the film and destroy his reputation, turning a contentious collaboration into a high-stakes legal battle where both sides now fight to preserve their careers. Then, just as the situation seemed unable to escalate further, Justin's team released raw, unedited footage from It Ends With Us as part of their defense, framing it as Exhibit A and arguing that the clip directly contradicts Blake's claim that he crossed boundaries during a slow dance montage. Instead of showing Justin dominating the moment, the footage depicts Blake initiating conversation, adjusting creative choices, and actively shaping the scene, raising questions about who is steering the dynamic and whether the atmosphere was as uncomfortable as later described. The portion of the clip capturing Justin leaning in does not match the vivid phrasing Blake outlined in her complaint, because rather than appearing aggressive or overtly inappropriate, the interaction looks more subdued and ambiguous, lacking the unmistakable intensity implied in the allegation, though that does not erase any discomfort she may have felt nor negate the importance of her perception of the moment. What the footage does, however, is complicate the narrative by suggesting that context may play a significant role in understanding their interaction, and it opens the possibility that what was interpreted as misconduct could also stem from a misunderstanding amplified by pre-existing tensions between them, especially considering their reported clashes over creative control throughout production. None of this automatically clears Justin of wrongdoing, but it does force the legal discussion into murkier territory, since courts and industry observers must now weigh documented video evidence against personal testimony, shifting the dispute from a straightforward accusation into a nuanced debate over intention, interpretation, and the messy realities of creative collaboration under pressure. Blake's supporters argue that power dynamics on set can create subtle forms of discomfort that do not always appear clearly on camera, while Justin's side maintains that the footage shows a professional interaction warped into something sinister for legal advantage, a disagreement that ensures this conflict will continue dominating attention. As both narratives keep shifting, the public is left trying to determine whether this conflict reflects genuine misconduct, severe miscommunication, or a power struggle that spiraled far beyond its original boundaries.
If you should ever leave me, though life would still go on, believe me, the world could show nothing to me. So what good would living do me?
The footage instead shows a light exchange, some joking, and Blake casually remarking that her body makeup is rubbing off, which is far from the tense moment she later described. While that doesn't completely eliminate the possibility that something inappropriate occurred, it complicates her claims, raising questions about why the interaction appears relaxed and why the overall tone feels more playful than uncomfortable. This contrast leaves observers unsure how to interpret the scene.
I'm probably getting a spray tan on you.
It smells good.
Well, it's not that. It's my body makeup.
The footage shows Justin responding without any whispering or lingering, offering only a simple comment with no inappropriate contact, no suggestive energy, and nothing beyond two actors adjusting a scene for the camera. But things get stranger when compared to Blake's lawsuit, where she claims she confronted him immediately about feeling uncomfortable, yet in the recorded moment there's no visible reaction, no shift in tone, and no sign of conflict, just ordinary, uneventful professionalism captured calmly in the footage.
And they win! They won!
All right, cut. We got plenty.
Yes.
Slow motion. It's going to be a 7.
No flinch or hesitation appears on camera. If anything, she seems focused on securing the perfect shot. That doesn't automatically mean she wasn't uncomfortable, but it does make her account harder to align with what the footage presents. Then there's the strange energy between them. Awkward barely describes it. While there's no clear hostility, something undeniably feels off. It's that uneasy blend of forced professionalism and simmering tension, the kind that suggests two people simply pushing through a scene while trying not to intensify an already delicate situation for the two of them.
And then let's just do one almost like super close.
Yeah.
Can you guys frame up on the Sebastian on you? Yeah. We'll just do like our lips are right next to each other.
Yeah, gotcha. But I think you should start talking.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, ready? Still rolling.
Don't give it to them. They want it. Don't give it to
They
them.
score.
Just
Right.
keep restraint.
Yeah.
Score.
Just do a little bit of restraint.
Ryan, come on back. And the couple by the bar walk towards us, cross. What's that? No, your name, sorry. Ponytail lady.
And then
Cross this way.
Let's
Cross
do
this way. Take your date and cross this way.
Blake clearly exercised far more creative control than most lead actresses, but Justin's lawsuit claims she went beyond involvement and began taking over, reportedly combing through footage after filming Wrapped to find leverage in the dailies, and given how assertive she appears in the clips, it's easy to believe she wanted the final say on every aspect of the project overall.
Nose is so big.
I was hoping that we could address this. It's not too late. Just gotta shut down. We gotta call an insurance month and just deal with that.
Yeah.
And then
Cut.
just kidding.
No, it's true. That's why we hired Jenny Slate too.
By the time they reached take 3, it was clear that whatever on-screen chemistry they were meant to have simply wasn't landing because they struggled to maintain eye contact, and the underlying tension between them was unmistakable. Yet even with all that awkward energy, there was still nothing in the footage that directly supported claims of inappropriate behavior from Justin. From there, the situation took another unexpected turn, as Justin's team revealed that this wasn't the only clip in their possession and hinted that they had even more raw footage ready to go, suggesting they were preparing to systematically challenge Blake's allegations piece by piece. Meanwhile, while Blake's camp scrambled to manage the fallout, the internet shifted into overdrive and began digging into her past, unearthing something that quickly turned the narrative even messier. In a resurfaced MTV interview from 2006, recorded while she was promoting Accepted alongside Justin Long, Jonah Hill, and Lewis Black, Blake told a story from her teenage years in which she and a friend decided to paint themselves from head to toe, a choice widely recognized today as deeply offensive. Instead of acknowledging the seriousness of it, the clip shows her laughing it off as if it were an amusing, lighthearted memory, and that revelation ignited a new wave of criticism online, with many pointing out that the resurfaced anecdote added an entirely different layer to the ongoing controversy and further complicated public perception at the very moment she was attempting to present herself as the wronged party in the current legal battle.
To me. Well,
Can I just say one thing?
Excuse me. I have blonde hair.
When hot girls say they're geeks, it pisses me off because I truly am a geek, and I hate to live with that. You guys are.
Excuse me.
Yes, rebuttal.
Excuse me. My best friend and I, when we were in 10th grade, we had like crazy crushes. We would drive around, like stalk these guys. We decided one night to go to the arcade where they were, and I put bronzer all over myself in a.
But here's where it gets freaky.
Bronzer all over myself in a Scary Spice fro, so I thought they would think I was like a black girl, and so I could stalk them. My friend dressed up as like this goth girl, and we literally sat outside their house.
But this is where it gets weird.
Which features 9 slave cabins and an area called Slave Street. It was owned by the Boone family, who enslaved around 100 people, forced them to live in these cabins, and made them work on the plantation.
The internet hasn't ignored this, especially as it fits a broader pattern of racial insensitivity for which both Blake and her husband, Ryan Reynolds, have faced criticism before. For example, their wedding took place at Boone Hall Plantation, a site historically known as an actual slave plantation, drawing widespread backlash and renewed scrutiny.
He said that he and his wife Blake were deeply and unreservedly sorry. He added it's impossible to reconcile. What we saw at the time was a wedding venue on Pinterest. What we saw after was a place built upon devastation.
In 2020, as Black Lives Matter protests spread worldwide, Ryan Reynolds acknowledged that choosing that location for their wedding was one of his biggest regrets.
It's everyone. Everybody's like had tons of plastic surgery and we're actually men and trannies. I mean, it's just like, you know.
But honestly, people had been scrutinizing them for years before that, and then there's this revealing interview to consider.
Hopefully this does not wake you up. Whew. Wow, there's so much I want to say to you, and I hope that we can FaceTime or see each other in person soon and get to talk more. But I'm just going to send you a few thoughts, and hopefully it's not going to be more than a few minutes.
Then the saga took yet another twist when leaked voicemails allegedly from Ryan Reynolds began circulating, purportedly capturing him threatening Justin, telling him to stop talking about my wife, which naturally sent the internet into a frenzy, sparking speculation about whether Ryan was trying to cover for Blake or had no idea how tangled the situation really was. While the public debated Ryan's role, an even juicier revelation emerged. Justin's own lawyer had once sued him for allegedly stealing a script, and of course Team Blake wasted no time seizing on it. Back in 2021, a writer named Travis Flores accused Justin of taking a deeply personal story inspired by his life and repackaging it as 5T apart, and conveniently, the lawyer who helped Flores file that lawsuit was Brian Friedman, the very lawyer Justin now has defending him, an undeniably awkward situation. According to the filing, Justin allegedly obtained the script while collaborating on a different project and then claimed it as his own, a move critics called shady, but the case was ultimately settled, and Flores tragically passed away last year, leaving the timing of TMZ resurrecting the story now highly suspicious, with many observers assuming Team Blake orchestrated it for maximum impact. Meanwhile, Blake's team has continued their aggressive push, showing zero mercy. When Justin's lawyer requested a simple extension after losing his home and office in the LA wildfires, Blake's team reportedly refused, coldly stating it was not our problem, while simultaneously working overtime to shape the narrative and headlines that portray Justin as the villain. Their strategy relies on the fact that casual readers rarely sift through a 200-page lawsuit, allowing a single messy headline to sway public opinion, but the plan appears to be backfiring, as the more aggressively they pursue Justin, the more backlash they receive, causing observers to side-eye Blake and Ryan instead, especially Ryan, whose public image is taking a hit simply by association, showing how precarious it is to stand by someone amid such a chaotic legal storm. Just when it seemed the situation couldn't escalate further, a late-night voice memo leaked to the press added fuel to the fire. Justin allegedly left Blake a 6-minute-long recording during pre-production for It Ends With Us, which the Daily Mail claimed originated from a heated debate over script rewrites. However, the memo's exact recording date remains unclear, and intriguingly, nobody is claiming responsibility for the leak. Justin's team, typically eager to release selective information when convenient, has remained unusually silent, while Blake's camp wasted no time going to the Hollywood Reporter to deny involvement, insisting they had nothing to do with this, a response that did little to quell speculation. This entire sequence of events illustrates just how multi-layered and messy the situation has become. Leaked voicemails, resurrected lawsuits, aggressive PR maneuvers, and clandestine voice memos all converge to create a public spectacle where every move is scrutinized, every narrative questioned, and reputations hang in the balance. The combination of legal battles, personal conflicts, and carefully timed leaks has transformed what might have started as a professional dispute into a sprawling, high-profile media saga. Where Blake and Ryan's every decision is dissected, Justin's credibility is challenged from multiple angles, and the public remains captivated by the unfolding chaos, unsure who is telling the full truth, who is manipulating the narrative, and what the ultimate fallout will be for all parties involved.
I for sure fell short, and you worked really hard on that, and the way you framed it, and how that made you feel. I just want to say thank you for sharing that with me. That takes a lot of trust and vulnerability, and I feel really grateful that you feel safe enough to tell me that that's how you feel and share that with me. And I'm really sorry. I fucked up. That is a fail on my part. One thing you should know about me is I will admit and apologize when I fail. I am far from perfect. I am a very flawed man, as my wife.
Right from the start, it's complete panic mode.
I'm so sorry you have been through what you've been through with these other filmmakers and producers or whoever the people were that you worked with. It just me off. Those heads that I'm just still kind of blown away that this is the industry that we're in and that you've experienced that as a woman. And I know I don't need to say it, but that's not at all going to be or will be. And hopefully it's not been the experience with me. There's nothing more exciting to me like that I get to work with Blakelively and have her, all of her. I mean, that's what I want. And so there's been no hesitancy with me sending you the final draft file. I am totally fine with that. The only reason I didn't send it today was because I was trying to implement and add your notes into my working draft, which is already like I'm all over that draft right now. So there's a whole bunch of new stars that are.
Right from the start, the 2 a.m. voicemail signals pure panic, a clear indication that Justin knew he had overstepped in some way. According to his own lawsuit, he never agreed with Blake rewriting the opening scene and only went along because she strong-armed him, casually name-dropping her husband Ryanreynolds and her friend Taylor Swift, two of the most influential figures in the entertainment world. The situation becomes even stranger when you realize that, at this point, Blake wasn't actively engaging with him. After initially expressing hesitation about her script changes, Justin says she ignored him for days, only breaking the silence later with a brief email stating that his feedback didn't sit well with her. That's when Justin's panic escalated, leading to the 2 a.m. voicemail, a long, anxious message practically begging Blake to maintain a good relationship. In the memo, he even goes on a tangent about the unfair treatment of women in Hollywood, emphasizing that he fully understands her frustration, a moment meant to show empathy, but which also underscores his desperation to avoid conflict. The voicemail reveals a mix of stress, caution, and an almost pleading tone, capturing a fraught moment that highlights the tension between their professional collaboration and the personal stakes tangled within it.
Said that he and his wife Blake were deeply and unreservedly sorry. He added it's impossible to reconcile. What we saw at the time was a wedding venue on Pinterest. What we saw after was a place built upon devastation.
So, what's the real takeaway from all of this? Honestly, it just highlights how chaotic both sides appear. Justin seems torn between presenting himself as the remorseful, understanding director and the helpless target of powerful Hollywood players, leaving his image in a constant state of flux. Meanwhile, Blake's team is likely scrambling behind the scenes over the leak because it blatantly reveals just how much influence she and her inner circle wield, exposing a level of control that adds fuel to the public's curiosity. This legal showdown shows no signs of slowing down, and if this is the kind of material already reaching the press, it's worth imagining what else might still be concealed. No one is suggesting Justin is blameless here, but when it comes to questionable tactics, Blake's camp appears to be running circles, orchestrating smear campaigns, manipulating public perception, claiming victimhood while executing aggressive behind-the-scenes maneuvers that amplify the PR nightmare. According to Justin, both Blake and Ryan have allegedly attempted to intimidate him into dropping his lawsuit, even going so far as to allegedly threaten physical harm when he refused to comply, narrowly escaping without serious injury. Clearly, this dispute is far from over, and the drama is likely to escalate further, making the stakes even higher. In the meantime, the story leaves us questioning who is truly in control, how much of this is being withheld, and how the public will continue to perceive each party. So share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to check out the next video to follow this unfolding chaos even further.